I'm excited to have the gentleman here, and I'm excited that Dean Boring and others made the arrangements to have him come do a presentation. So I'm inviting Dean Boring to come up and introduce herself.
Well, it's my pleasure to certainly introduce this gentleman.
By the way, I told him not to read that.
Oh. I don't remember him saying that. Yeah, well, you did say that. You did say ticket holder, which means I bought the tickets in 75 or 76. And I understand there's less than 100 of us still around, so they owe me, I think. Because we were in the old Storm Hall about 085, and Shelton looked like an ant from where we were sitting. But we look at football players and other sports people, and we just have no idea what they really do. And reading this, as I told Shelton, just really humbled me. But Shelton is the director of football operations for the Tampa Bay Bucs. The director, after 10 seasons, established himself as one of the best linebackers in Buccaneer history. He joined the Tampa Bay front office. This season enters his 5th year as director of football operations, after spending 2 seasons as director of pro scouting, a title he earned 2 years after as a coordinator in pro scouting and 4 years as pro scout for Tampa. In his current role, he works directly with the head coach and general manager in organizing day-to-day operations of the team, while assisting with roster management, contact negotiations, advising the pro personnel department, on advanced scouting, and overseeing all player travel and transportation. Working as a coordinator of pro scouting, he was responsible for coordinating the advanced scouting of Buccaneers opponents, as well as organizing player workouts. Quarels' responsibilities also included the in-season scouting of Buccaneer opponents and all NFL free agents. And he participates with the scouting and evaluation of the Bucs roster. In 2007, his first year in the front office, he helped guide the Buccaneers to the NFC South Division title. In 2010, he helped the Buccaneers to a 10-6 record, finding multiple players on free agency and waivers that made some significant contributions to the team. During his 10 seasons on the field, he helped lead the Buccaneers to 3 division titles during that time, while earning a world championship in 2002 with Super Bowl 37. Made the first Pro Bowl appearance in 2002 as a member of the top-ranked defense in the NFL. Member of the Buccaneer defense, was ranked first in the NFL in total defense on 2 occasions, and finished the season in the top 10 of his 10 years as player. His decade of service left a mark on the Buccaneers record book: 148 games played, 113 career as a Buccaneer, ranked 8th and 9th in team history. He ranks 4th with 985 career tackles, 985, including a career high and team best 196 tackles for 5, the 3rd highest total in Tampa season history. Played all 3 linebacker positions during his team, only 1 of 3 players to do that. 1 of 3 players. In '99, he posted a team record 31 special teams tackles and recorded the longest play in team history with a 98-yard reception. Numerous awards during his career, including the NFL Unsung Hero Award, Buccaneers Man of the Year Award, and the Ed Block Courage Award. He remains one of the most philanthropic figures in Tampa Bay since its inception in 2004. His Impact Foundation has had the mission and benefit of at-risk children, youth, and their families by providing assistance, programs, and events designed to build self-esteem, provide unique, life-changing opportunities, and help them set and achieve their goals. Impact Foundation has raised $500,000 and impacted over 3,000 at-risk single-parent families in the Tampa area. Please give a warm Rotary welcome to Shelton Quarles.
Thanks, Dean. How are you guys doing? I'm still a little tired from all that running after the interception. I'm still looking for those 15 tackles that they said I came up from 1,000. So I think they were in there somewhere. I should have had a few JOPs, jump on piles. So I was trying to figure out how I'm going to start the speech today, and I thought, like, tell them something funny about me. You know, you think guys that play football are real tough and they don't get scared very much, but you know, I'm an avid bike rider. Sometimes in the morning I get up around 3:30 or 4 o'clock, I'll jump on my bike and ride, but I like to ride with headphones. It's probably not smart at that time of the morning. So one morning I'm riding down the street and I go behind this Publix and I come out and I was like, man, if a dog was chasing me right now, there's no way I would hear it because I'm listening to the Bible. And it came to a part where there was a lull. Do I hear something right now? I kind of, like, that can't be anything. So it came to another part where there was like a little lull, and I looked down and it was like a Cujo-like dog. And so I'm like, I screamed, my foot stepped off the pedal, there was a car going by, I almost got hit, and then I put my foot back on the pedal and I started riding real fast. So then the dog stopped, and I came to a stop, and what's the first thing you think about? Was anybody watching me? Exactly. So nobody watched me. So there's another guy coming from this other direction, and he's heading towards me. I'm like, I can't wait to see this. This dog's gonna chase the guy. The dog sat right there, just watching him go by. What's the difference between me and the dog? Or that guy. So that's my story for today. I'm honored to be here with you today. I'm truly excited about the upcoming season for our Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know that I'm preaching to the choir when I say all of us here in this room today are rooting for and love the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At least I hope that's the case for every person. Still, let's just lay out all of our cards on the table right now, and let's have a little transparency as we kick things off. Because perhaps a few of you might just have some doubts about our team's ability to not only survive, but to thrive during this upcoming. Now I know that some of you might start thinking, if I pass this microphone, you'd say, Shelton, what are your predictions for the 2018 season? From various analysts and news outlets, it's not quite what we want to hear. The stats are not in our favor this year. But I'm going to remind you all today that those predictions and statistics are just that. They're not premonition. I want to remind you not so that current predictions poke holes in your faith in the team. You have to have faith. Here are a few examples of 2017 preseason predictions and final standings as they headed into the playoffs last year. The Vikings were predicted to finish second in the NFC North, with Dallas predicted to be first. No playoffs for Dallas, and the Vikings won the division. In the NFC West, the LA Rams were predicted to be third in the NFC West. Seattle was predicted to be first. No playoffs for Seattle. In the AFC South, Jacksonville was predicted to be last. They ended up first. And Tennessee made the playoffs, who was predicted first, but they were one and done. Philly was predicted to be third in the NFC East. And Dallas first. Dallas, no playoffs. Philly, Super Bowl champ. With these key players that were lost to injured reserve, their starting kicker, Caleb Sturgis, was done after week 1. Their special teams ace, Chris Maragos, was done after the first week. Their star versatile running back, Darren Sproles, after the first few games, he was lost. The best left tackle, one of the best left tackles in the game, Jason Peters, was done at the midway point of the season. Their quarterback of the defense, middle linebacker Jordan Hicks, was done at the midpoint of the season. And last but not least, Carson Wentz was done after week 11. So for those of you worried about us not having Jameis for the first 3 games, I think we have a capable backup with Fitzpatrick. He did win a couple games for us last year. So, well, my very presence here standing before you today proves predictions mean absolutely nothing. You see, there are some who say I wasn't supposed to be here. Not as a current director of football operations, not as a Super Bowl champion linebacker, not as a record holder for the longest play of scrimmage in the Buccaneers' history, not as a former player and front office executive who would survive and be promoted through 5 head coaching changes, 4 general managers, with one of those coaches being Coach Dungy, John Gruden, all the way to our current coach, Coach Cutter. I wasn't supposed to be here. And those of you say that I'd end up as president and founder of the Impact Foundation, giving homes and new hope to single mothers, that wasn't supposed to happen. Not if you look at the stats and predictions for young Shelton Quarles. It wasn't predicted that I would achieve the success that I've been blessed with. My mother was barely 15 years old when she had me, and I was born a preemie. Times were tough. My mother and I shared a room from my birth until I left for college. I didn't know what it was like to have your own bedroom as a kid or young. Every day was a struggle, just to survive. Yet, here I am standing before you today. Thanks to hard work coupled with support and faith from family members, friends, I never gave up, I never gave up. And listen to me when I say you can't give up on us. We need your support. We need you in the stands to cheer for us along the way. We need you to have faith. And you have my promise. This isn't a one-sided partnership. We'll give you that love right back. We're making changes and doing our part too. More than ever before, hard work, discipline, and sacrifice. Those are prerequisites for players before they're even allowed to walk in our parking lot. Hard work, discipline, sacrifice. We're growing those seeds of greatness for our players. We're doing our part. You have my promise. So keep the faith, keep supporting us, and we will not let you down this year. As far as this season is concerned, we got rid of some players that weren't playing to our standard. Robert Ayers, really hard worker from Tennessee, defensive end. He brought toughness, but lacked production. Doug Martin played well for us a couple years early, but off the field issues derailed his career. Chris Baker was all talk, no production. J.R. Sweezy, good hard-working player, but was injury-prone, so he didn't do very much. But we made a concerted effort to find the players who we thought would provide what we needed and what we're looking for. We had Ryan Jensen from Baltimore, center, who allows Ali Marpet to go back to the left guard and play his natural. He brings toughness and a lot of red hair, so I'm pretty sure he was a lot of jail. Jason Pierre-Paul, good thing he didn't blow his other fingers off this year. Hopefully he'll be able to blast some pass rush for us this year. We added some Super Bowl champions to our roster this year. Diddy Curry, toughness and ability to play both the run and the pass. Nose tackle, Bo Allen, we poached from the Eagles. He has a lunch bell type mentality. That's what you look for on the offensive line. Mitch Unrein came to us from Chicago. Hard worker, tough, great work ethic. As you remember last year, serving versus the Patriots, we missed a lot of field goals that game. Probably would have helped us win. But we brought in Chandler Cancero from the Jets, who should be making some kicks and keep us in the games that were close last year. As far as our draft and free agent class is concerned, we address every position. It's something that we haven't done in the past. In the draft, the first round, we picked big defensive tackle, Via Vea. Athletic, stout. What we need up front on our defensive. We had a guy that runs a 10-3, 100-yard meters, and Ronald Jones. If you know what 10-3 is, that's really fast. We added a defensive corner, MJ Stewart, one of the smartest, hard-working players I've ever been around. And he wants to. I've never been. I'm in the building quite a bit, and they're always saying, "Shelton, why don't you go home?" But I just enjoy what I do. It hadn't been a day that I came. I said, "Man, I just don't feel like going to work." So I'm in there even when it's our vacation. I'm in there doing something, and this kid is in there every day. He's like, "Can you let me in the door? I want to go." So even on Easter Sunday, he was like, "Hey, can you come let me in?" So he wants to be great, and I'm sure he will be. Carlton Davis, you're playing against defensive corner. When you're playing against those monsters, and Julio Jones and the other receivers in the NFC South, you got a lot of big players. And I'm pretty sure Carlton can stack up against those guys. He's played against a lot of stiff at Auburn. We had in the third round, we had Alex Kappa. He's another ginger, a big red-headed guy that will fight you. He's scrappy, he's physical. He's from a small school, Humboldt State in Oakland, California. They do a lot of other things in Humboldt, smoking and stuff like that. But hopefully he doesn't. But I'll tell you a funny story about him. We were selling these guys over the other day, and he's like, "Man," one of the guys said, "This guy just got in trouble he snorted his own his grandmother's ashes, and he's like, and then and then Capital was like, hey, hadn't everybody done that? So, and then the fourth round, we had a kid out of Pittsburgh, defensive safety, Jordan Whitehead, really tough, a great returner. I think he's going to be a really good one for us. We added a really smart guy, and Justin Watson out of UPenn. He decided that football meant so much to him that he didn't even want to go to his graduation. He decided he wanted to be involved with our rookie minicamp instead. That shows you where he is. And Jack Sitchy, out of all the guys at linebacker that I've studied, he doesn't have it. He's not that great of an athlete, but he studies really, really hard. And so I'm pretty sure what he lacks for in athletic ability, he'll make up for. So some of our key undrafted free agent signings and other players that stood out this offseason as we went through our practices. A guy from a small school in Indiana, Reuben Holcomb. Another guy, offensive tackle Cole Beazer. Receiver Sterling Bailey. Running back out of Duke, Sean Wilson. He's made a lot of plays, so it's going to be really tough trying to pare down the running back. Defensive end, Aaron Pizzario, Parizo. I've never seen a lineman run 60 yards downfield and make it back. He's running like the linebackers. Hard worker. So if he doesn't stick on a regular roster, I'm pretty sure he'll be on our roster as a practice squad player. Damone Harris out of Buffalo. He's played really well. A bunch of sacks, but against he was going against the third team. Isaiah Johnson, who was here last year, and Javian Elliott out of Florida State, who played a little bit. Fun story about Javian is Javian came last year and he had a workout, and so he drove in from Tallahassee. Easier for him. So we just told him after the workout that he wasn't going to make it, and good luck, and gave him some money to get gas and go back. And so one of the other guys that we actually chose to come on and be on our practice squad, he was, once we sent him to the medical, he didn't pass his medical. By this time, Javian had already gotten up to Jacksonville, driving back home. And I'm like, Javian, how far away are you? He's like, an hour and a half. Go, can you turn around and come back? You're actually going to be on our practice squad. So that's a good story about Javian. He's been a good kid, great addition to the team. But in closing, we have the makings of a great roster and the opportunity to have a successful 2018 season. I know we're going to miss Jameis for the first 3 games. I know there are a lot of negative stories in the press about him, but being around him and having the opportunity to be around his family, he is the solar. You know, he's not going to let the moment make the man. Yes, he's made a bunch of mistakes, but I'm pretty sure he's learned from those mistakes and he's heading in the right direction. So please don't give up on who he is as a person. Believe in who he is and where he's going, and that he's matured over those times. And I think the sky's the limit for our team, and as long as we believe and circle the wagons in our building, and if we have support from people like you guys, that will be totally fine. And always remember, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. Thank you very much.
We got time for some questions. Can you take the questions? Why don't you come back up? Anybody got questions for Shelton? Surely some of the football fans here.
Yes, sir.
Shelton, the third string quarterback that you had, did you have a chance to manage your rotation, Patrick, and start?
Yeah, he played a little bit for us last year. He actually played well in the preseason. We've been with him. We poached him from the Saints roster a few years ago out of Tulane. Really good player, smart. Just hadn't had an opportunity to do it in season. But you know, as far as if he keeps progressing, last year he got hurt in that Jacksonville. Might have been in Jacksonville game. He got sacked and landed on the shoulder, so he missed the majority of the year. But I think he has a shot. I don't think he has starter ability, but he probably has backup ability. He can be a 2. Yes, sir.
Shelton, it's kind of universally accepted that doing the hard knocks program is that. A year later, do you think the organization has that in regret?
Probably. I wish we would have done it after our Super Bowl year and gotten out of the way, because I thought last year had a lot of promise. It's just tough, injury bug. I don't give any merit to that. I don't believe in superstition. So, I mean, it is what it is. We didn't play very well, and we didn't win the games that we should have won. So, I don't think that had anything to do with the hard knocks. Yes, sir.
How many plays have played both on offense
Okay. How many plays do we have on offense? It's more than defense. For defense is what I'm more think about. It's just not necessarily plays, it's just defenses. So you have different variations of those defenses. As far as plays for offense, I couldn't tell you. Sorry. Yes, sir.
Were there any thoughts or discussions about bringing another quarterback in just in case?
Were there any thoughts about bringing another quarterback in? I don't think so. There was nothing really on the street. During the course of the season and during the off season, we'll have certain workouts at positions that we think that we're thin at, and there was nothing out there from a quarterback perspective that made any sense for us to bring in to help us. Yes, sir.
If you were a fan of the Bucs, the whole history, who would your favorite player be?
If I was a fan of the Bucs, who would my favorite player be over the history? I would say Leroy Selman. He meant a lot to the team. I think about the history and what he's done for our community, and so it's not about everything about what you do on the field. Off the field counts quite a bit. Yes, sir. What it is my foundation does. So our motto is tackling the problems of families in need, and so it's more about at-risk youth. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what work does with this foundation, giving single parent homes, mothers homes. So we started a Mother's Day Miracle program where we would go in and find a house that's kind of in disrepair and go in and redo the whole house, whether it needed the roof, floors, cabinets, furniture, and paint, yard, fence, whatever. So that's our primary focus, is to go in and assist at-risk mothers, because my mother had one and she was done, and it was just me and her for the most part, or her and I for the most part. So that's primarily what we do. We've had other programs, golf programs, reading programs, back to school programs, backpack programs, Turkey Day. I mean, we've done just about everything. Yes, sir.
What were the different coaching styles of Tony Dungy and John?
What are the different coaching styles of Tony and John? I would say Tony would be a person that would, I remember the very first team meeting we had going into training camp, and we went in there, and he's like, it's not going to be, out of these, back then it was an 80-man roster, he said it's not going to be the most talented 53 guys that make our roster. It's going to be the 53 guys that gives us the best chance to win. So he was not a rah-rah guy. He was a guy that looked at you like he was your dad, and like if you did something wrong, you hated to disappoint him. Whereas John is totally opposite. He's going to get in your face, he's going to cuss you out, and that's the way he asserted his authority over you. Whereas Coach Duncan was more laid back, and he could just talk it out, whereas John yelled it. And John didn't have much to do with the defense because Coach Kiffin handled us, so it was rare that he came over. But I might have saw him coming into our meeting maybe 4 or 5 times over the course of his career in Tampa.
What did you learn from at-risk mothers that would help James?
What have I learned from at-risk mothers that would help James? Well, I think more than anything is to make sure that you're there for your kid and make sure you love him. I know he just had a baby with his now, I don't know if it's his fiance or wife, I think he's getting married, he proposed to her. So I think that he understands that he needs to be there and for his child and to make better decisions. And it's not about, I'm sure he can make better decisions, but it's about the company that you keep when certain decisions are being made. Because if he had better advisors or people that were with him, like how are you with friends that let you go home alone with somebody to begin with? Like all my buddies, they would have gone with me and left with me versus me going by myself. So I think he understands that. Yes, sir. What made Monty Kiffin unique compared to other defensive coaches? I would say that Monty was good, but he had somebody over him that helped shape the decisions and somebody beside him as well. So when something was wrong, you better believe that Coach Dungy, who ran that defense when they were in Minnesota, helped lead Monty in the right direction. And then also Marinelli, who's the defensive coordinator now with the Dallas Cowboys, was also another person in the ear of his of Monty. So I don't think that it was all Monty. I think that he had people along beside him that helped him with some of the decisions that he made. Yes, ma'am.
So can you give us like a quick, what's a day in the life of an NFL player during the season?
The day in the life of an NFL player during the season. It would probably depend on the day. On Mondays, it's more if it's after a Sunday game. The guys would probably get in probably around 9 or 10. And they could get a lift in, recover, rehab, or get ice or whatever. We'd probably have a 1:15 team meeting, or 1:15 special teams meeting where all the guys involved with special teams will have to go through that. Then it'll be about a 1:45 to 2 o'clock team meeting where coach will talk about our expectations, what happened during the course of the game, just a short recap, and then they go into a meeting where it was just by offense, defense, and you go in there and your position coach would be coaching the players in his area, and they go through the game and how everything went from a grading perspective. Tuesdays would be a day off. Wednesdays would be the hard days. So with the new CBA, everything totally changed, and it made it more friendly for players to have longer opportunities to play in the league. When I played, it was like 2 a days. They grind you from the time you woke up to the time you go to sleep. Now it's totally different. There was a bunch of older guys that wanted to prolong their careers when they did the new CBA. So when they did that, they made everything really easy. Back when the summers, it used to be 40 weeks of workouts. Now it's maybe 20 weeks of workouts. You can't have 2 days during training camp. You can only have 1 day. And the second practice is called a walkthrough. It's full speed, pre-snap, walking, tempo, post-snap. So it's totally different. If you have a bye week, you have 5 days off in a row. It's mandatory. Back then we had 2 days off. It was mandatory. We ran 2 full padded practices in a day versus what they do now. So it's set up for players to play a longer period of time. But I don't think that the product is what it should be because it's being really watered down because you don't get the fundamentals and the time on the field that you would normally get.
Comment what that's doing to professional football sideline, would you recommend your kids to play football with that?
Would I recommend my kids to play concussion CP? I'm not really concerned with it. If they chose to play football, then they will. My older boy as a sophomore, he was offered Oregon for football, Florida State, USF, Toledo, a bunch of schools. So, and I'm pushing him because he's a really good baseball player. So I'm trying to like, hey, buddy, longevity is in baseball. Guaranteed money is in baseball, not in football. So, but he's not listening. So I'm like, all right, do you see me walk? I just had my knee replaced last year. Do you understand that? Yes, but I like football. Like, all right, whatever. So, but I don't have any concerns. If it happens, I mean, it just happens. I'm not really concerned about that. CTE, and I mean, maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't, but for right now, I'm just living the way I live and hoping for the best. Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell us a brief time of how you got into football?
Well, man, that's pretty funny. So, when I was really little, my mom told me, because I used to love Dallas Cowboys in Pittsburgh, how I like those suits. And then I had these pajamas that had the feet in them. I don't know if you remember those. And so I had shag carpet. We had shag carpet. And so I used to always run around the house and slide and then touch my mom so I could shock her. And so she told me, I was watching football one day, and she's like, hey, you like that? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be a football player one of these days. And so fast forward, I played like maybe 1 year baseball as an all-star, and I was like, that's too easy. And I played like a couple years of football, and I was like, I don't want to do this. And so then I moved away to Virginia, and I moved back to start high school. And so one day I was walking around, and one of the coaches was like, hey, why don't you come out for the football team? I'm like, yeah, maybe I will. So I went out there a couple days, I was hot, it was dirt, and then I'm like, this is not for me. So I never went back out again. And so once school started, one of the coaches came up and like, hey, where have you been? We've been looking for you. I'm like, I had walking pneumonia. I was like, well, come back out. We love to have you. And I went back out, and that year I ended up earning a starting job and kept playing through high school. So that's kind of how it happened. So going to Vanderbilt, I had a bunch of small schools that were recruiting me, and Vanderbilt was recruiting two of the other kids on my team. Both of them were cornerbacks. And so one of the cornerbacks broke his arm, and then they started recruiting me. So me and my other guy, Robert, we both were the bandage, and the guy that broke his arm ended up in Western Kentucky. Well, after 2 years, Western discontinued their program, and so now he blames me for him never playing football because I took his scholarship. So, but that's kind of how I ended up playing football.
Thank you very much, Shelton. Just so you can remember the Lakeland Rotary Club, you might need to take some notes on this on one of your trips.